Okay guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's Jay Ayyo. So this week we've had a lot of series of events happening. We had situation going on with Nepali, Gen Z overthrowing the government. We had situation in the States. We had events happening in Jamaica, and we also have world champions happening this week, which is super exciting and it's incredible. A lot of people will be vying for their specific countries to win the World Championship. But today I'm here to talk about what happened in Jamaica. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're about turning viral moments into teachable lessons. And what fitting place to bring up than Jamaica? Because there's always activities happening in Jamaica and there's always something to learn, as with any other country in the world. So, what happened in Jamaica this past week? There was an incident which occurred in the parish of Manchester, Jamaica, where there was a standoff with the local authorities with a recent deportee um, in this case. Uh, Due to the matter still being under investigation, I'm going to be using some terminologies which people may not like, but I have to do because the matter is still ongoing and the police is still investigating. So, where it transpires with this situation is that we have an individual who recently got deported from Canada, and this individual was staying at an apartment in Manchester. It is alleged in the situation leading up to this event that um, the brown man in this case, who was the recently deported person from Canada, brown man, wanted to buy some eggs from a vendor. The vendor told Mr. Brown Man that the eggs are for $1,200, and Mr. Brown Man only wanted to pay $1,000. Now, in this sort of situation or cultural situation, you product is this price and you're unwilling to pay, there's usually going to be some confrontation, some words exchanged, and let's just say the Mr. Brown Man in this case did not like the words that were exchanged from the vendor who he wanted to buy the eggs from. So much to say that Mr. Brown Man killed the vendor in this case, and upon doing so, Mr. Brown Man went back to his apartment, and local authorities such as the Jamaican police came to try to say, Mr. Brown Man, we need you to come with us. But Mr. Brown Man had a high powered gun, and this created in of itself a long standoff with the local authorities. The military had to come in as well. But with this standoff, it took about 4 hours for the local Jamaican authorities to get the situation under control. Based on what was said, because it was an apartment complex, it had many other people, or it was suspected that there were many other people in it. And you don't want to endanger, the local authorities did not want to endanger the lives of suspected people in the complex. So the standoff took about 4 hours. There were other people videoing this event that was happening in Jamaica. It got high numbers of views on TikTok for those who lined it, to one point where there was over 40K people viewing this standoff. So a lot of gunfire was being exchanged by Mr. Brown Man in this case with his high powered weapon. This is not something that the local Jamaican authorities are intimidated by in terms of standing off and dealing with, let's say, the public. The local Jamaican authority is well versed on how to deal with criminal elements. But in this case, the local authorities really took their time to find out what was happening in the situation. A series of gunfire was exchanged after talks with Mr. Brown Man that were becoming unanswered, and seeing the level of state that he was in from the discourse or conversations that were happening with the local authority negotiator from the Jamaican police force and with the Jamaica Defense Force. The police had to take decisive action, they had to be swift. So, even along to a point of going beyond 4 hours, the local authorities did not want to endanger the members of the general public. But what I do find surprising is that, Mr. Brownman in this case was able to gain access to, a high power weapon and get bullets and use at his discretion, basically. Um, and he was, in essence, able to hold off the police for such a long period of time. Granted that the police was exercising caution. But what I wanted to point out was, more or less of why this wasn't a flag with local authorities, where you have deportees coming from the US, United States, and Canada and UK, that, we're not vetting the individuals that are coming back into Jamaica. So I think higher protocols need to be in place when we have people reintegrating back into society, so that a situation like this, doesn't occur again. Suffice to say, what ended up happening with this whole ordeal was that the local authorities took matters into their hands, and they were able to apprehend Mr. Brownman in this case, who unfortunately had received gunfire between the exchange of the 4 hours. And it though this situation was resolved in that Mr. Brownman didn't take anybody else's life other than the vendor, which is really sad. It brings up the question of, mental health in the community. As we've seen with a lot of events this past week, we're seeing that people's mental health are in somewhat bit of a strain, in that people are dealing with a lot of internal stuff and personal stuff. And what you say to someone more or less can be a trigger, which may result in something being a greater issue. Suffice to say, the teachable lesson in this moment, or viral moment, is that, one, we have to be careful of, what we say to people and how we say it, and providing that level of respect. But also, I believe we have to ensure that when we're taking people back into the general community in Jamaica, there is vetting of some sorts, and understanding that you, people shouldn't have access to high power artillery, guns, hybrid bullets, so that they, in some case, can endanger the general public. And with that investigation in of itself, he had Mr. Brownman had fired over 500 rounds, it's estimated, and with just that one gun. And what they discovered was that there was another additional weapon, and there were other bullets. So comment down below of what you think the police or should have done, or any comments you have. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.